Library. Today's book that I'm reviewing is Shiver of Snow and Sky. So I got this book in my subscription box, Book Box Club, and this was last month. And I was reading lots of other books before this one, and I finally finished it in time for my Book Box Club meeting, and we got to chat to the author, and it was so good because you got to learn a little bit more about the background, and you got to learn a little bit more about how she wrote the book, why she wrote the book, and if there is another book. Okay, so Shiver of Snow and Sky. It has this beautiful cover, but it is starting to come away a little bit where I've been reading it so much. Okay, so Ice, Myth, Magic and Danger. On the frozen island of Skane, the sky speaks. Beautiful lights appear on clear nights, and their colours have meaning. Green means all is well and the goddess is happy. Blue means a snowstorm is on the way. And then there's red. Red is rare. A warning. 17 years ago, the sky turned red just as Osa was born, unleashing a plague that claimed the lives of hundreds of villagers, including her own mother. This time, when the night sky once again bleeds crimson, she must discover how to stop the onslaught before so many lives are lost again. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And it was a really good book. For those of you that don't know my rating system, 1 is poor, 2 is okay, 3 means it was not a bad book, 4 was that I really liked it, 5 was it amazing, and then if it gets a heart it means that I loved this book so much. And I have had a lot of 5 stars which I've given books and 4 stars, but if you get a love like the Harry Potter series, A Touch of Power series, called Thorns and Roses, etc., then I love that book so much that I have to give it a heart. It can't have a star, it has to have a heart. So this one was a 4-star rating, which is very high up in my rating system. I don't like to give a book a 0 star, and I feel bad when I give it a 1 star because the author's had a lot of work gone into it. They've tried their hardest, they've managed to get a book out there, so there's obviously something good about it. It just means it's not my cup of tea. Cup of tea. All you need is a pug, is my mug today. Yeah, this is actually my sister's mug, but yeah, it's a nice mug. So yeah, I thought I'd put that in there, seeing as I was talking about not being my cup of tea. I might change the stars to tea, how many teacups it has. That'd be quite a cool thing to do. Instead of stars, we'll do teacups, and then if it's a heart, it still means I loved it. Okay, so with the review, you guys have probably seen my written review up on my WordPress already, which was released when I finished the book. So I'm slightly late with recording this, sorry. I've just had a lot of stuff to do. I've got a new job at the moment, which means that I'm actually running out of time in the week to do these kind of things, which means that I do it on the weekend to get light, or I do it in the afternoon with the light on and my big light which I brought for my videoing, so that's a lot more brighter when I do that, so I do prefer to do it in daylight. Okay, so with the review. So this book is about a place called Skane, and where I imagine it being is in between like Norway, Finland, Antarctica, up that kind of way, but it's got its own kind of time period where it's not nowadays, it's sort of like a made up time like Lord of the Rings, and it's not modern. I do kind of see it like Vikings and stuff, but perhaps a little bit more modern than that. They don't have tellies in their houses, and you know, they live in these little sort of like cabin things, so it's a made up place, but it's a bit like Vikings and Anglo-Saxons and that kind of decade, and what their lives were like that, so that's how I imagine it. They've got fishing villages, they've got fishermen, fishing boats. There's another few villages that are just around. There's a lovely map in here which shows all of what I'm talking about. This is the map. I hope you can see it. So we have the Cal Mountains at the very top. Then underneath we have the plain. Then we have the Horn, which is the river that flows from the top to the bottom. There's a Lake Hornstrask. I think that's how you say it. And then above the Horn is the Isavik village. This is near the forest. And then there is the village of Neska, which is where Osa is from. Then there's the Sajorskal village and the Borma village. And on the smaller map at the top, you have the Ore Islands, the White Water, Skane and Losa. Now Losa is where the people from Skane used to live before the Ore basically invaded and pushed them across to Skane. And when you look at the Ore Islands, you do realise how small they are, so you can't imagine them actually being like that, but then hey, there must be more of them on those islands than there is on Losa. Okay, so the book is a fantasy YA genre, and it was published on the 5th of October 2017 by Lueddecke. I think that's how you say it. I apologise again because I'm rubbish at pronouncing. So the subject is the island of Skane and the red lights. The setting is, I'm not sure about it. It seemed made up, like Vikings, like we discussed a second ago. And the main characters is a girl called Osa and a boy called Ivar. So every day or every month or whenever, there will be these lights that will appear. So the lights that we have are, there is a poem, and it's a really, really nice poem. Okay, so green, green, the lights glow green. Happy is our gracious queen. So every time the sky will show these green lights, so you imagine like the northern lights, it means that the goddess is happy, so all is well. Okay, there may be rain or whatever, but everything is okay. Blue, blue, the lights glow blue, a vicious storm nearby does brew. So this means that there's going to be a storm. It could be around the island, it could be in the sea, but she basically warns you that there is going to be some sort of storm. Red, red, the lights glow red. Beware of the dangers up ahead. The last time these lights appeared, okay, from where the book is set, was 17 years ago when Osa was born. The lights appeared and her mother died because every time these red lights appear, this disease or this illness goes around the island, and basically these people will die. And that it's happened before, but the last time it happened was 17 years ago. And Osa obviously lost her mother that way, and her father lost her husband, his wife, and her sister lost her mother as well. And for the whole of her life since she was a child, she's been made to feel bad that her mother has died. Obviously she's sad about a woman she never met, but she, you know, she's been made to feel like it's her fault. And in a way you can see how she could continue to believe it was her fault, because obviously her mother was weaker when she was given birth to her, and then obviously this illness struck her mother. Now, without spoiling a little bit further on, the poem does change slightly. There is something called the golden lights. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Let me quickly see. Gold, gold, the lights glow gold, reawakens something old. And basically they were saying that, so it says in here about the gold lights, just to explain a little bit more about it. There were things in the storm, maybe beings, maybe not. No one was ever able to describe them afterwards. They led my ancestors through the snow and wind up to the shelter of trees, where the remainder of them managed to survive until it blew over. When it had passed, in the pre-dawn glow, the Osa were just disappearing from the sky, giving way to the sun. But they all swore on everything they held dear, that the lights were gold. My breath caught in my lungs. They were very near to this exact spot, and this is where they founded the lights, founded the village. They said it felt right, felt like things had wanted them to live here, so they stayed. They were also the ones who wrote an addition to that song. You know the one. About the lights, I said softly. Of course, I know it. Everybody knows it. Everyone knows it. He began to hum the song, making his way through the colours, green, blue, red, and then gold. That is basically what this book is about. It's about these lights glowing in the sky that are red, and Osa thinks, well, I need to find this goddess and I need to try and speak to her and to try and get her to help us, because this isn't right, what's happening to us, we can't, you know, we need to know more about these red lights and why the red lights are here. She can help us, maybe she can stop these red lights. I mean, why does she do these red lights? Is it something that we need to be doing? All these questions are going through her head. And she takes her best friend Ivor to the mountains, and Ivor is, I've forgotten what it's called now, but he can basically read writing on the wall, and he can learn other languages and find out about different things. So like, you know how in, for example, in Ice Age, when they go into the cave and they see all the cavemen's drawings, and they start to see things like the saber-tooth tiger or the woolly mammoth, and it basically tells a story through these pictures. It's able to understand these things. So they go into the mountains to see if they can find out how to find the goddess. So they head up, and there they are. There they find some information. They then leave, and these things called the ore, which we explained earlier on the map, appear, and they are scary, horrible things. That they don't look like humans. I'm not going to explain too much about it because I don't want to spoil it, but they're not human, basically. And they basically fight them off and manage to escape and kill them, and they then go back to tell the village. So the red lights have gone off, which means that something's going to happen to the village and people are going to die. They've got the ore in their way, so they basically need to fight back. They can't have both things happening because otherwise they won't survive either. So Osa basically travels off into the mountains to try and find the goddess, and Ivor stays trying to recruit and go to the other villages and see if they will join to try and save the island of Skane of the ore. So Osa's on her travels, Ivor's staying behind, and throughout the book, different chapters are for different characters. The first chapter's with Osa, then it's with Ivor, Osa, Ivor, Osa, Ivor, and etc. until you get to the end when they both join together again. And sorry, that's a spoiler. I spoiled it for you. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, events then in a quick summary was Skane gets a warning from the goddess whenever something's going to be happening, like this illness, or like we said earlier about how the sky will turn green if it's okay and it will be blue if there's a storm. Osa sets out to find the goddess to save the people of Skane. The ore, who are enemies, are going to invade Skane. So the most exciting part for me was when you reach the goddess in the mountains. The whole of her journey is magical and exciting. You encounter some other kinds of creatures that you believe to be in stories, which are in stories, which is in the story. And she basically escapes these, she basically escapes these creatures and finds her way to the mountain where these people are protecting this goddess. She finally finds her way and she meets the goddess, and the scene slash chapter when she meets the goddess is so well written and so believable. You believe you're there, and it's really exciting. That's definitely my most exciting bit. But my favourite part of the story, this is a big spoiler. Okay, so when she meets the goddess, there's this creature, and when she finally passes these tasks, because there's 3 sets of tasks, everything comes in threes, there's 3 sets of tasks, and one of the tasks is she has to go past this stone dragon, another one of the tasks is she has to go through silently, another one of the tasks she has to find her way through the dark. So there's three different tasks. And when she completes it and she speaks to the goddess, the only way to get back to her village is to ride in on the back of a dragon, fly in on the back of a dragon, and it's beautiful to see, well, read her on the back of the dragon and flying in to save Skane, and that was really cool. So my review of it was that I really like the book and I can't wait for the sister book. So the most exciting part of this review is on Book Box Club. If you're a member, you can speak to the author of whatever month you've had. So this month was is a book called The Memory Trees. So that's going to be the end of this month, or maybe next month. I can't remember when the date is now, but you have a meeting with the author. So it's like a group chat with everyone that's brought the books, and you all log in and you can speak who's brought the book box. Who brought the subscription box, you get to chat to the author. So this one was my first one that I actually got to go to, well, my second one I got to go to in the whole time of me having the boxes, and December is my 10th box. So yeah, I've only been to 8, so I've only been to 2 of them now, so I unfortunately missed 8. But anyway, so this was really exciting, so it's my first proper one that I remember doing. You got to chat to the author, you asked her some questions, she answered them, and she revealed that there is going to be another book, but it's going to be a sister book. It's going to be a pre-Shiver of Stone and Sky. And she didn't tell us too much about it, but I can imagine that it might have something to do with the goddess. In this book, the goddess explains why the red lights occur and why she informs you and tells you about them. So I think and I would hope that the sister book would be about that, and I'm really, really excited for that, and I know it's going to be a good one because I like this one. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. So yeah, that's the end of my review. Sorry it's a little bit short, but the book was such a simple idea. There wasn't too much complexity in it, and it was just an easy read, easy and exciting, and I didn't want to finish it, so yeah, it took me a little bit longer than I would have hoped, and obviously with my job it literally took me a week to finish half the book, when normally it takes me quicker than that. I mean, for those of you who know me, you know that I read the whole Harry Potter series in a week's holiday, so basically a book a day. But yay, here we go. I couldn't finish this one as quick as I wanted to, so yeah, that's why the review is a little bit slow, so sorry about that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.